press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to your social science class. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is chapter 4, Judicial System. What you are going to learn in this chapter is how the Supreme Court of India functions, the structure of the Supreme Court of India and structure and functions of the High Court as well, subordinate courts and the revenue courts. So basically about the judicial system. Judiciary, what's judiciary? Are courts where we get justice, where if anything happens, they are the ones who take it in their hands and make reasonable judgments about it. So that's what we study in the judicial system or the judiciary of the country. Now we have a very common judicial system in the in our country. Like, it's not like the American judicial system where they have separate courts for the states and the center. For us, our judiciary is independent in any guidance that they give of the legislature and executive. That is, any judgment that they are giving based on whatever the legislative and the executive does, we have one permanent body for the entire nation where judgments are given. Now, these high courts that are there, or subordinate courts that are there, or district courts, whatever are there, they all function on the basis of what the Supreme Court says. Supreme, what's the name? What does the word supreme suggest? High, divine, okay, which has high status. Supreme, all alone, one being. So whatever high courts are there, district courts are there, subordinate courts are there, they are all functioning on the recommendations or line of the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is the ultimate body and the judgment is final. So if you have heard anything that has to be given, they say the Supreme Court's verdict. Supreme Court has said this. The Supreme Court says like this. So we all have to follow. Okay, so that's a body of people there who discuss and make certain judgments that are very important for the nation and direct it to the district and district, high courts, subordinate courts, wherever they are entitled to. So we'll move on to the first one, that's the Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court has come into existence by the Act of Parliament in 1950 on the 28th of January. So 28th of January 1950, by the Act of Parliament, as our Supreme Court has come into existence. Now it is in New Delhi, the Supreme Court is in New Delhi. The President of India appoints the Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court. So who appoints? The President of India appoints the Chief Justice and the other judges of the Supreme Court. Now there are 31 judges including the Chief Justice. So what is the qualification if you want to become a Supreme Court judge? First, you should be a citizen of India. Basically that is a rule for everything. You must be a citizen of India. You should have worked or served the High Court as a High Court judge for at least 5 years, or you should have been an advocate at the High Court for at least 10 years. Okay, and distinguished jurist as per the President's opinion. That is, either of the three things you must have. One is you must be a citizen of India. Second is you must have served as a High Court judge for 5 years, or you should have been an advocate at the High Court for at least 10 years, or you must be a person, a jury who is being appointed in the President's opinion. So retirement of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is 65 years, and whenever, if they would like to resign earlier, it is their choice, they could do, but the retirement age of the Supreme Court Chief Justice is 65 years. Now, if any of the judges have offended anything or not done their discharge their duties properly, then on the recommendation of the President, and in majority of both the houses, the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, they can be removed from office. Who is that? The judges. If the judges have not discharged their duties properly, if the judges have not made things right or done their duties well, on the recommendation, okay, on the recommendation from both the houses, they can be informed to the president and he can be removed from office. So majority of vote has to be going from the houses. Now, after they resign or after they retire, they cannot practice before any court. So that's ultimate. Once they finish there, they finish it. That's voluntary resigning or retirement after their age. They cannot be practicing in any court whatsoever. So the salaries that come to them, the allowances that they get, all are decided by the Act of the Parliament. Act of Parliament. Now see students, I want you to understand this is a very simple lesson. If see, there is nothing I can take and mix up so many references and explain to you. This is what it is. I have to say it. See, if I can't say retirement is 66, no, I have to say 65, isn't it? So it's just what's to be said, and what's not to be said, I can't be giving extra references. So even for you, I'm telling the same thing. It's an easy lesson. Just you get your numbers and statements right. So what? See, till now, what did we say? Where and how the Supreme Court has been established, and who can become a judge in the Supreme Court, and if they resign or retire, or if they don't discharge their duties. That's what we discussed. So we'll move and understand further what are the powers and functions of the Supreme Court. You can see the Supreme Court picture at New Delhi in page 51. So original powers. Now original powers are if there are any disputes between the center and the states, or between the states themselves, or if there are any violation of fundamental rights of the citizens, they have the power to intervene and interpret all these provisions that are given under the Constitution and whatever writs are passed. Now we studied this in our Constitution, in the Union government, so you will have to go back to the reference of those lessons to mix up this lesson, okay? Because you have studied, I am just using those terms and figures there. Now, if there are disputes between the center and the state themselves, or if there are any, or for the basis of safeguarding the fundamental rights of the citizens, you have studied the fundamental rights of the citizens, and then to interpret the provisions, or if there are any writs that are passed to look onto all these things, the Supreme Court has their original powers. Next is appellate powers. Now citizens can file cases to the Supreme Court. See, if any of the lower court has not given your judgment rightly, you can file a case or file cases to the Supreme Court against the judgment of one of these lower courts that you sought help in. Now if you have gone to the district courts, they didn't give you, go to the High Court, then go to the Supreme Court, okay? So citizens can file cases to the Supreme Court if any decision that was being given by any of the lower courts is not acceptable. So the President can consult the Supreme Court if he has to have any advice on agreements that have to be done, contracts that have to be entered between the government in order to implement certain things in the Constitution. The President can consult the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court serves as a court of records, that everything is with them. Chief advisor, they are the ultimate ultimate word. They give the ultimate word, chief advisors to the center and state, and they have permission to give special writs that are there. So these are the functions of, okay, I skipped from appellate to advisory. We'll go to appellate back, okay. Now appellate is citizens can file cases against one of the lower courts if the judgment given is wrong on their basis. Now the Supreme Court can take these appeals and issue judgments according to what the matter is. Now it can also give directions to the citizens to make such appeals to the or file such appeals. Next is advisory powers. Now this is what I mixed up, just very sorry for it. Understand it differently now. Advisory powers is where the President seeks advice of the Supreme Court on important issues. Then he can take advice from them for matters related to agreements or contracts that have to be signed or entered by the government before anything, and implementation of this constitution, anything that has to be done with the constitution. That is how the Supreme Court acts as a court of records, the chief advisor of the center and states, and can issue special writs. Alright, that's moving on to High Court. High Court, constitution provides for a High Court in every state. So every state has a High Court. Sometimes there is one High Court for more than 2 states. If the state is very small, one High Court for both states sharing them. Now High Court has a Chief Justice and other judges. Number of judges, that depends from state to state. Our High Court is in Bengaluru. So qualifications to become a High Court judge: first is citizen of India. That is a very compulsory, so even if you don't remember anything, write this and keep, because he is to be citizen of India. Then he should have been a judiciary officer in the judicial office or worked as an advocate in the High Court for 10 years to become the Chief Justice or High Court judge. Should be, see, advocate is different from judge. So you should be an advocate for 10 years or you must have served as a judiciary officer in the judicial office. And he should be a distinguished jurist as per the opinion of the President. That is, who are these juries? People who are sitting there in case they cannot be taking any judgment properly, the jury is consulted. So a group of lawyers and advocates are there whose opinions are taken. They are jury. Just like now singing competition, you have judges. That's the jury. If there is a fashion contest, you have the jury deciding. Here in the court as well, there is a jury who is deciding if the judge there cannot make proper or he wants to consult them and ask them in matters related and take their opinion as well. So age of retirement here in the High Court is 62. Now they can resign earlier if they wish to. If the judges are found guilty while discharging their duties, they can be removed from the office by the President, supported if that's the same thing, isn't it? On the recommendation of both the houses that are there, majority of votes have to come, and in consultation with the President. So functions of the High Court, depends on the things that are happening or the judicial ways happening in the entire state. One state, their ways. Now they have rights for criminal and civil cases, naval, okay, marital and contempt of court cases. These 3 cases can be dealt. Now they can take their appeals, appeals of the judgments being passed by any of the subordinate courts in civil and criminal cases. Now there are district courts, isn't it? Subordinate courts, district courts. If any judgment has been done there, the High Court can take that appeal and look into that matter. Now they can function of the High Court to direct transfer of cases from lower courts to High Courts. In case there is matters that have not been solved, they can direct it to the High Court. We will look into it. They can supervise the subordinate courts. They have the right to supervise the subordinate courts. They can writ petitions for the safeguarding of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights have to be protected, so writs can be issued. Then legal rights of the citizens are to be protected, to appoint staff and regulate them. Alright. Now see the chart there: Supreme Court, State High Court, District and Session Courts, and Districts and Session Courts are being divided into two: Senior Division Court for civil cases and Chief Judicial Magistrate for criminal cases. Okay. So you have civil lawyers and criminal lawyers. They function differently because of the cases that they get. Now we'll go into subordinate courts and understand what's more important in this. Now subordinate courts, there was a conference of court that was held in 1948, urged for the independence that the subordinate courts wanted, that is to function on their own. Now based on that, a specific structure has been given and a scope that subordinate courts can be included in the constitution has been also talked about. So subordinate courts, they differ from state to state. Main feature of the courts remains the same even if they differ. That is, courts are divided into two: civil courts and criminal courts. Now civil court, every district has a civil court, and the district judge is the chief judge of the civil court. The governor is the one, governor of the state, he is the one who is appointing the district judge in consultation with the judges of the high court. The district judge, he must have served as an advocate in any court of the state for a period of 7 years. Then the other judges are selected through competitive exams. Now here in this lesson I want you to make the table. Write Supreme Court on top, then, because you are going to get confused with the ages and you are going to get confused with the duties. So write Supreme Court on top, make column qualification, functions and powers, okay, and then additional information. Make 3 columns like this and then write. Qualification you can write, it is laid down for you. Functions and powers you can write. Okay, additional information is establishment of the Supreme Court. By what? By Act of Parliament. Then the retirement, resignation, okay, if there is any wrong done, consultation with the houses, majority of votes, all that additional information. Same way do for the High Court also and the subordinate courts. So civil courts that are there, these are related to civil matters like property, land, money issues, okay, marriage, divorce and other things alike. So they can hear appeals from the lower courts as well, and the district judge exercises control over the civil court. He has the right over the district courts, the district judge. Now in the subordinate courts and the district courts are, that is, see, Supreme Court, High Court, district courts. Under district courts there are another subordinate courts. They are Court of Subordinate Judges, Court of Additional Subordinate Judges, Court of Munsifs and Court of Additional Munsifs. Alright, we will see what they are as we go. Criminal courts, they have come into existence on the 1st of April 1974. They are also known as district magistrate courts. So they function under the High Court. Now highest criminal court at the district level is the Sessions Court. Now this district judge performs the functions of the judge in this court too. So district judge is the head there. So the district judge takes up, or the district court takes up crimes like murder, robbery, dacoity, okay, all these things, theft and other things. So it can give life imprisonment as well as death sentences in the criminal cases. However, if they want to give imprisonment or death sentences, it has to be clarified with the High Court. Now they can make appeal to the High Court if the judgments given by the criminal court are not accepted. Now Other criminal courts functioning under the criminal courts are Chief Magistrate Court. Now this Chief Magistrate Court doesn't have the power to pass death sentence or life imprisonment. Okay, they cannot give that, but they can give 7 years of punishment. Then there is the first grade magistrate court. This has greater power and it can impose punishment up to 3 years and fine up to 5,000. Or they can impose both. Either they can give 3 years of punishment or fine of 5,000, or they can give both, fine of 5,000 as well as 3 years of punishment. Now they can take appeals from the lower magisterial courts. Second grade magistrate court, this can give punishment up to 2 years or a fine of 1,000, or they can give both these punishments. Then the third grade magistrate court has the right to give only 1 month of punishment and then 1 month of punishment of life imprisonment, 1 month of imprisonment or 50 rupees or both. So that is the third grade. 1 month of imprisonment, 50 rupees of fine or both. Now second class and third class cannot give any judge or appeals to the judgments of the other courts. Now this district and sessions court, they are like one and the same, they act or similarly, and the judge passing the judgments in both. So the court takes up the civil matter, it is called as the district court, and criminal court is called as the sessions court. Alright, now when you do a chart for the subordinate courts, first write civil court on top, that is the heading, and then write who are present, okay, that is district judge is the chief judge, then who appoints the district judge, write governor, appointed governor, in consultation of whom, see it's like this, I will tell you how to write. Civil code, alright. Now every district, so either make like this. So every district has a civil code, just write main words. No need to write every district has a civil code. No, district, you understand, every district has a civil code. District judge is the chief judge. So district judge he is the chief judge for both civil and criminal. Alright. Okay, district judge. Then who appoints? District judge is appointed by whom? The governor of the state. Okay. Governor, appointed by the governor, and with whom? Consultation with the judges of the High Court. Judges of the High Court. Consultation with the judges of the High Court. Now, this is what appointments and beginning of it. Next, write this district judge should have served as an advocate. I will continue here, advocate in any court of the state for how many? Period of 7 years. Okay. Then the other judges are selected through other judges exams. So this is how to pick important words and write. So can you understand, see, make it neat, okay, but can you understand the table? Civil code, every district has one. The district judge is the chief judge. He is being appointed by the governor and the judges of what? The High Court, alright. The district judge, in order to become the district judge, he has to serve as an advocate of any court of the state for 7 years, and the other judges of the district court are being appointed by competitive exams. Alright. Then, okay, you can write another point here. Civil code discusses matter of what? Discusses matter of property, land, okay, property, land, marriage, divorce, monetary transactions, okay, etc. So, did you get the entire civil code definition and understanding of the civil code is being done in this chart? So, that is how you study, students. Same way for the criminal code, make it as the criminal code. Criminal code came into existence right here. See, if you write criminal code like this, put the heading and then draw boxes like this. Make boxes if you want, so that you do not confuse yourself. Okay, here you can get confused, so draw boxes, and or you can also draw like this. If you write civil code, okay, then like this, then take it away like this. That is left to you, your understanding of how you can make and how you can study. Okay, criminal code also I will tell you how to write. First write criminal code, then write the date, that is existence, 1st of April 1974. Criminal court are also known as district magistrate. So, write in bracket district magistrate, so that you know it is called as a district magistrate also. The next point, they function under whom? The High Court. The highest criminal code at the district level is the Sessions Code. So, under the criminal code, the highest level is the Sessions Code. So, Sessions Code comes first. Okay. Now, when the district court takes up a criminal matter, it is called as a Sessions Code. So, that is how you write, students, that is how you make notes, alright. So, I want to stop at this, I want to not to go any further. We will understand few other things. We will understand the Court of Subordinate Judges, Additional Subordinate Judges, Munsifs and Additional Munsifs also in the next class. I wanted to finish that criminal code and then come back there and then move on to the revenue codes. So, that we will do, and the remaining part also we will do and finish off in the coming classes. Till then, I want you to read how much is being done. Thank you very much for listening.